Hi, today I want to share with you how you can overcome anger, live peacefully, attract peacefully, manifest peacefully, become an epic queen of attraction, harnessing the capacity of your peace and your joy from the inside. Now, this is a video it's not about toxic positivity, all right? I did another video today where I speak into how anger can impact your manifestations in love and dating and in finances. And I address in 30 minutes the great detail of how this is not toxic positivity. I will address it shortly in this video, but I always recommend for you to watch this video. So go to the summary and you're going to see the link there. And I also wanted to invite you to my powerful clearing event to help you transmute anger from your nervous system, okay, pain, and integrate to your nervous system joy, peace, clarity, and prosperity. This is going to help boost your magnetism. And there's a special opportunity where you get over $600 to $700 off, and a special opportunity for you to work with me privately because I'm offering a bonus session just for today because we're starting next week. Okay, so the reason why I want to say this is because our emotions are being siphoned. Okay, we don't live in a reality right now. I invite you to consider where it's like safe for you to express your emotions everywhere. There are energies that try to siphon your emotions, like your emotional state of being, whether it's sadness, grief, pain, and like a lack of worthiness, etc. And there comes a time where it's important to be able to transmute them and to not harbor them in, or to basically repress them or suppress them. Okay, suppressed emotions can still be siphoned. You're walking around with a bleeding wound out there, and a narcissist, a toxic person, one of their first thought processes is, how can I make that person angry? How can I make that person react? How can I make that person experience pain so that they weaken who they are, their vibrancy, their vitality, so that then I can get my way? They're trying to get a reality where they win and you lose. So most people have some degree of anger against themselves that looks like a lack of self-worth that they repressed, okay? And you might not be able to identify that it's anger at yourself that you have. It's very easy to point a finger, right? And to say, I'm angry at this person. But if you look at these fingers, they're pointing back at you. So it's actually important to clear and release from your nervous system. Hello there. Thank you so much for joining. It's important to repair from your nervous system anger at yourself, anger at the world, anger at people, okay? So that you can live joyfully and peacefully and manifest with a lot of grace and just build like your winning energy. See, we think that the anger that we have at ourselves or at others is going to prevent us from repeating past mistakes. But accumulated anger actually takes away from you trusting yourself, because the anger caps your joy, how you see yourself, and you feel like you're always under a threat. We all have, and welcome everybody. Make sure to read the summary so that you can look at the event that I have called Clear Your Anger and Manifest from Joy. And it's a powerful event, and there's a bonus just for today, okay? So basically, anger can kill your joy, right? And your peace. But society is trying to siphon you, trying to make you think that the most healthy version of you is the one that's angry at society, angry at the injustices. And you mistakenly think that anger will give you power, but it's actually depleting you, okay? So in order to live in peace, you've got to first choose peace, okay? In order to live in joy, you got to choose it. Now, what's currently happening in society is that a lot of the people that first would get angry and are hearing this message and you're, yeah, I got to choose peace and I choose joy. But in reality, you might not be choosing peace or joy. You first chose anger, then when you went into apathy and you access a place where you're kind of giving up, right? Like you feel like this life is too unfair. And then you choose the joy and the peace. You think you're choosing it from a resignated place, and you feel like you cannot access or showcase your fullest light into the world. You cannot fully go for it because you have some unconscious belief systems that life is unfair. You're not going to get your way. You're going to think that people are crooked or toxic or whatever. So when you have core belief systems that you cannot trust the people around you, that they're trying to siphon you, that they're trying to manipulate you, and you start to feel powerless, bingo, that's what the narcissist wanted from you, okay? So a lot of spiritual people don't even want to look at the negative, but when you really check in, I invite you to consider this. There's a lot of apathy, a lot of give up behind their choice points. And that's taking away from your vitality and your life force. So the number one thing that you can do to counteract the negativity that you see or that you're trying to avoid in seeing is to blast out your light even further and fill up more with your whole essence, okay? And that's a joyful essence, but it's not reactive to the negativity. You know that light conquers darkness any day of the week, okay? And it's not just a spiritual concept, but you bring your heaven to earth, right? You're filled up with the joyfulness of the now and your trust in yourself, well, in God, in yourself, and in other people. That joyfulness, that peacefulness will help you determine who's actually toxic, who's good, who you can trust. But when you're too tired by the anger, okay, that you're moving into apathy, anger blocks your discernment to know fully what's going on. And then you become this angry person and you're lashing out on everybody and you believe everybody's an enemy. And what you don't realize is that that does have an impact on your body because it's depleting your, it's depleting, I'm getting to say this, I'm saying this as an intuitive and as a coach, not as a medical professional. It's depleting your neurotransmitters, your capacity for joy. It's depleting like who you are in essence. I hear that's why a lot of people, when they become adults, they kind of reminiscent on the joy of a kid, but they don't believe that life, you can get your way. So I've had to clear a lot the anger consciousness from my psyche. I've been very committed since last year to clearing anger consciousness from my being. I cleared it like over like 80%, and I'm committed this next week to clearing it fully. And what I've actually joined, like what I can feel again is my capacity to do things. You know what I mean? Joyfully, that I don't have to. You know, I've been releasing the anger that I've had towards people, the anger that I've had towards myself, because it's very harmful. Anger is only meant to be there to protect you from outside danger in a particular time, but it's not meant to fuel you for the rest of your life. And if there's entities that are trying to siphon you, like government or etc., that are trying to make you freak out in pain and anxiety, they're trying to spike your emotions all of the time. They're depleting you and they're taking away your dream, your capacity to live life joyfully. So you gotta be able to help your nervous system come back full to life so that it trusts again. It trusts God, source, your life, your capacity. And then what you will notice is that you will start to get more creative ideas, enlightened ideas that you're going to get from God, from your higher self, that will help you replenish again, that will give you money, that will give you love, that will give you all the things. If you're walking around being like an anger like magnet, basically, you don't realize this, but you are repelling versus attracting, not because you are, I'm not being toxic positive, I'm trying to express something. The over accumulated anger says that you don't trust, like you don't fully feel like you can trust somebody or that somebody's going to be there for you, and you feel deflated on the inside. There's a give up in that constant anger. So you don't fully trust that somebody can meet you, love you, be there for you, or that you can attract that. And the tricky part about it is that energy doesn't lie. Okay? It doesn't lie. And if you are believing like anger, I can't trust people, I can't trust people, you know, people can feel that. They're going to feel that you don't want them around them, okay? That you don't trust them, or they even might even fear that you might try to punish them. Now, I understand, right, that like I said, you're not at fault if you struggle with these emotional concepts. We've experienced abuse, many of us, since we were kids, and that can impact your capacity to trust, and maybe you're stuck at the space of anger, and I get that. But what I want you to know is that you can shift that, helping your neurotransmitters, helping your nervous system release those beliefs about people hurting you to the core, what that you started to imprint when you were 7 years old or 4, that made you feel like you couldn't fully trust life. Okay. And you can reprogram that. It just requires a lot of love, a lot of patience. Okay. And I've created a program that can help you rewire anger to your core and instill joy and trust again. That trust is it's not gonna be reactive or defensive. It's actually gonna show you, no, I can trust this person. You might feel like you're gonna become more intuitive, Okay, you're going to be like, I don't know what's going on here. Or you might even start to hear answers, particularly because you will be able to sense more of what's going on around you without needing to activate a state of defense. Because when you're defensive and you're not trusting anyone, it's like subconsciously you're asking people to stay away from you because you feel like they're going to hurt you. And that's something that I had to work on. Myself clear a lot of the anger consciousness and trigger warning when I was sexually assaulted and the abuse that I experienced from narcissists. And I had to come back to self. And I'm a joyful person. And I've noticed that a lot of clients, I'm going to give you some examples for those of you that are listening. I've helped clients. I remember like 3 clients. They worked a lot on the anger that they had towards their ex, like their ex-husband. A lot of anger. He didn't take care of me. He never provided for me. He never gave to me. Oh my God. And the bitterness and the anger associated with that. We clear that. And it's like they were tying themselves karmically to that person. And the next thing you know, we just cleared it, the anger. So the person had a bigger capacity to receive the things that they expected from their ex-husband. And what do you know? The ex-husband came back and they were like, here, have X amount of thousands of dollars. I don't think I treated you right. Because anger creates karmic loops with people, and you're like angry that they didn't give to you something, and you can tie yourself to them sometimes. And the person would come back. I've worked with clients who were engaged for years. Okay, I'm talking more than 6 years. Angry that the parent, like the look at, why did I say parent? But the partner didn't finalize the engagement. Okay, angry, angry, angry. We worked on releasing the anger. Magical stuff happened. You know what I mean? Because they released, they let go, they allowed, they opened up in their nervous system. There wasn't like a judgment frequency between them. And then the person would, finalize, and they would, get married and stuff like that. I've seen corporate companies that owe people a lot of money. Once the person clear the anger of feeling invisible from them, or like the abuse, instead of just saying that on like, corporate companies are toxic or they take advantage of you or they're cheap or whatever, you know what I mean? Instead of just staying stuck in that frequency and they release the anger around it, then boom, the company would give them hundreds, or thousands or more, or give them, a pay raise, or they would give them the exact director position that they wanted, or even a better one. Because you're calling your power back, and you don't have to be angry to be powerful. Okay? You have to be joyful, because joyfulness says, I trust myself no matter what. I don't need you. Like, I would want you to be in my life, but I don't need you. I'm going to do this, but it's not through hustle. It's through, I'm going to receive so much from God, from source, from life, from the universe. I'm an epic magnetic receiver, because you trust yourself. I've had people, I think you've been around somebody that's asking for help, and like, you give them the help, and then kind of you start to feel drained because they don't take it. Like they're constant, like they're in a frequency of pain. They don't let it go. They're too immersed in the problem and they don't want a solution. All right. And I remember one time I was like, trying to help somebody, and I started to feel so depleted that day. I took my entire day off trying to help, and I realized that whatever you gave them, they gave a butt. And I said, I already done the thing that I needed to help them with, and I had it in front of me, and they were just didn't take it. And I was like, well, let this be the last time that I actually put myself in a situation where somebody's asking for help and I put myself there and they're just not committed. So I just relaxed. I didn't get angry, even though I felt the invitation to get angry. And I said, God, who wants this? Like, I already created this. Who wants this? And I remember sitting at a restaurant that day, and I was just a prayer. And somebody came in, somebody that I'd never seen before, came to the restaurant, decided to sit with me at the table. I kid you not. And they were like, so what is that? I'm curious about that. So, well, this is this, and it's this amount of money. And the person said, okay, cool. And they just pull it out from their pocket and they paid. Joyful manifesting exists. Being so angry at somebody who didn't give you something. It could be an entity, it could be a government, it could be people, it could be men, it could be angry at yourself. All of those things can sabotage you. And it's okay not to, and it's important not to normalize it and to call moving into a different space toxic positivity. It's only toxic positivity when you shame the emotion. And as I was saying, anger protects you. It teaches you when somebody's violating a boundary. But you're not meant to stay there for long, because when you stay there for like years on end, and you're losing your faith, then it's becoming toxic for you. Okay? And then you might be the person that's avoiding a different result. So if you really wanted to manifest different things, positive things, I've seen this a lot of times with women in dating, like they're very angry, like their dating profiles are so angry, and they wonder why they're not attracted to the person because they're sending out, "Don't come close to me." You know what I mean? Like, I'm still hurting. And that's okay. If you're hurting, then there's safe spaces like this for you to process it, where I'll validate you. You know what I mean? I understand why you have that anger. Like I said, I was sexually assaulted. I understand why there's degrees to anger. At the end of the day, you could start to sabotage yourself because it will eventually start to deplete you. And you got to learn how to make a different choice. So, yes, choose joy, choose peace, and clear whatever makes you doubt that you can get whatever you want. And it's safe for you to be in that frequency. I promise you that you will be more intuitive. You will get ideas that will profit you, that will bring you life, that will attract to you the right people. And you won't have to access anger to prove a point or anything of the sort. Clear your anger and manifest from joy starts this Tuesday. And today only you get over $600 off and a private session with me, which is a 40-minute private session, which is around that same price point. So you're getting $1,200 back. And why do I say that? This is why people pay me the big bucks, because I'm very good at understanding emotions, energy, frequency, and I help you release it, and I help you feel magic again, feel that you can. And that's your superpower. That is your currency. And that's what's trying to be siphoned, because a lot of women are being encouraged to be angry at men and whatever, start to say that men cannot change. There are toxic people out there, men and women, companies, government, so many different things. But what do you do against that adversity? Do you cave? Do you let them siphon you? Or you blast out all of your joy out like light? Because that's what joy is. Light. Where there is light, there can be no darkness. You don't let them weaken your light. You just become more of that light, and that will connect you with the right people that really want to help you and support you. Okay? Shine bright. Say goodbye to the people that are, remember that your light attracts flies, but then are you letting yourself be siphoned by a fly? And needing to yell that that's like fly is like doing something to you? Or do you just continue to manifest joyfully? So in this program, we're clearing the top 17 beliefs that create anger. The top three are an anger at not having money, the anger of not being able to control and manifest what you desire, which can also indicate love, because a lot of people can have a frequency of anger and control. And the third one is an anger at the world. We will address anger at yourself. We will address anger at people. We will address anger at men. We will address anger at women. All kinds of anger, top 17 angers for 2 months. Okay? 2 months where we're clearing in the most advanced technology that I know to help you release and reprogram your nervous system within minutes or within a couple weeks, depending on trauma. This program also addresses trauma because I've been able to heal CPTSD with it. So, and it helps with anxiousness. It helps with codependency. If you really want to be a happy, joyful woman, I invite you to join this program, and it will help magnetize to you and prosper you in ways that you could have never imagined. Always believe in the power of your joy, and don't let it be siphoned by anyone, okay? There's testimonials as well. And remember, this opportunity to get the free session with me and a private session with me, because this is going to be a group program I'm probably going to cap it at 10 people because I like my programs to be intimate. And we start on Tuesday, and you're going to get a private session with me, a 45-minute session. And you're going to get the link to join the program within 8 hours of your purchase, okay? I prefer to do it that way because I want to connect with the people that join. It's over PayPal, and the link is below. I would love for you to join. You can read the testimonials there, and you can see how many people have said that the sessions that they've done with me has been deeper than year-longs of therapy, because I help you collapse timelines and attract what you want with ease, and I help you release those heavy emotions within hours. Okay? Once that energy is cleared, it's not going to come back unless you experience something really traumatic. Okay? But even then, you instill so much self-trust in your nervous system that it's a lot easier to shake off, and it doesn't stick like it used to. So build self-trust so nobody can siphon your energy, and build your joy, because that's what manifests, and that's an energy that lasts. Anger will only, like the fire will just disappear. Okay? It's not healthy in a prolonged state. It's not healthy in a prolonged state. Watch also the video, I'm going to copy it below, that I did today on how anger can impact your manifestations, and leave a comment, share. And, I'm going to tell this is true. Like, there's people who come and copy like this message that I'm saying. I have psychologists, I've had different people that come and like copy and do this from ego, sincerely. And I recently saw it a couple days ago when I was talking about this message. Really, I just want to invite you to check in with your intuition if you feel like I'm the right person to do so. But whenever you're working with people, like what really triggers me or what used to anger me, but I'm like coming back to a joyful perspective and just joyfully sharing. So many people do this work to fill their ego and they don't even believe that people can change. And I'm telling you, you can change. No belief, like no, don't let anybody cap you from what you can do. Okay, you're a phenomenal person. Don't let anybody do this out of ego and put you in a box and tell you that you cannot change. What you need to is to help your nervous system believe in change. And that's one of the things that we do here. All right, so I'm sending you much love, light, healing, prosperity, joy, all the good stuff. And I hope to see you soon and clear your anger and manifest from joy. Take care.